Good morning, Clearbranch kids. I hope that you guys are having a wonderful month. And I know that I am, and I'm really enjoying sharing with you guys some really cool cliffhanger stories straight from the Bible. Last week, we finished up the story of Joseph, and when we left him, he was able to save not only all of Egypt, but also people from surrounding lands, including his family that were then relocated there to Egypt. Now, as his family continued to grow and more generations were born, there were so many Israelites there in Egypt that the Pharaoh began to get worried. He was afraid that these people were going to try to rise up and overthrow him. And so he made a pretty bold move. He enslaved all of the Israelites. He made them work for him for little to no pay. And this went on for a while, but it didn't seem to really be tamping down the Israelites the way that he expected, and so he made another really bold move, and this one was truly terrible. Pharaoh decreed that all Hebrew babies that were born would be put to death, that were baby boys. Right after this happened, there was a family living there of Israelites who already had a daughter named Miriam, and then about that time they had another baby, and this baby was a son. Well, his parents just were so in love with him, and they just could not bear to follow Pharaoh's rule. And so they did not kill their child. And they were able to hide him for about the first 3 months of his life. But if you've ever been around little babies, you know that you can really only hide little babies for so long. As this baby grew, he got more active and louder. He was playing, and there was really no way to hide him. His mother had no idea what to do. But she trusted God to show her the way, and she had a rather crazy out-of-the-box idea. She took a basket and she coated it on the inside so that it would be waterproof, and then she took her son down to the river and put him in that basket and floated him down the river close to where she knew that the Pharaoh's daughter liked to come and bathe. Well, she couldn't stay there all day, and it might be somewhat suspicious, so she left her daughter Miriam, there to stay and keep an eye on this baby. So what happened next is pretty crazy. Just as the mom had hoped, Pharaoh's daughter, the princess, came down to bathe with all of her ladies, and she saw the baby floating in the basket. When she saw him, she thought he was so adorable, and she wanted to raise him as her own. Well, about that time, Miriam had a rather out-of-the-box idea of her own, and so she popped up out of the weeds and she said, "Oh, princess, you don't need to be taking care of a baby on your own. I know someone who could do that for you. Would you like me to go and get her?" And she said, "Yes, absolutely." So Miriam ran home, got her mother, and they came back. And the princess decided that what they would do is that the baby's mother would raise him in her home for a few years until he was old enough to come and live at the palace with her. And so that's just what they did. So Miriam's mother was able to keep her son and then raise him as her own and also be paid to do it. And then when he came of age, the baby came to live with the princess in the palace. And she is the one who gave him his name of Moses, that we know him by now, because it means to draw out of, and she drew him up out of the water. Now, there's a lot more in Moses' story, but just like some of these others, you're going to have to wait to find out what happens next. But what I want you to remember is this. Moses' mother loved her child. It's not that she wanted to disobey Pharaoh, but she just could not imagine giving up this child that God had given her. And so she prayed and she asked for guidance, and she trusted God, even though she didn't know what to do next. And that applies to us as well. Sometimes we're scared, we're worried, we don't know what to do. But just like Moses' mother, we can turn to God and ask for help through prayer with God anytime as well. Have a great day, guys.